We have here a 2008 Chevy Silverado with a 5.3 liter engine, and the customer's complaint is it won't start. Posting this information on my YouTube channel really makes me want to give out good information to the people who are watching it, and I want a solid diagnostic procedure developed to where you know for a fact it needs repaired and you know what the repair is. On this car, the starter has been replaced at some point, and we need to know whether the starter's the problem, whether it's the command to the starter to turn on, whether it's a voltage problem to the starter or a ground problem to the starter. So the diagnostic process is going to tell us that. So let's make some quick checks here. Okay, deep down in this hole, you can see that red wire running down there. That is an alligator clip test lead that I've put on the start terminal. Okay, that alligator clip test lead runs up to here to hook to my test light. I have it hooked there on the windshield where I can see it when I go to crank it. Now, this has been an intermittent problem some, and so I'm very worried that the car might start working, and if it starts working, the tests that I'm doing aren't going to be any good. I have to have the problem present when I test it, so I'm going to do another check at the same time. I have my meter here, and I will be hooking the positive lead to the battery post, the battery cable post on the starter, and we can do a min-max function on this meter, and that will tell us whether or not we have any voltage drop in the positive cable. I'll go hook that up down there now. Okay, so we're looking at our fluke meter. I have it hooked to the positive cable post on the starter, and I'm going to push the min-max button. It's going to record the highest voltage and the lowest voltage. So it just beeped to record the highest voltage that it's just seen. So let's go try and start this thing. But we're going to watch the test light. You could hear the starter go click, and as you can see, I have stopped. It's obviously a computer controlled starter because the test light stayed on for a longer period than I actually turned the key. So let's go see what our lowest voltage was. Headlights came on during starting also. Push the light button here, and so pushing this once, that shows us our maximum reading was 12.2. Push this again, our lowest reading was 11.4. That is totally good enough to start this car. Now, to test the ground, I would have done this at the same time, but I only have one meter, and it's not worth getting a scope out for. But now I'm going to move this lead that is down on the positive battery cable out the starter to the housing of the starter itself. And that's going to test the ground of that starter. And it should have very little voltage on the ground when we go to start it. Okay, I now have the positive lead of the meter on the case of the starter, which is the ground for the starter. I'm going to push the min-max button, and you have to do this while you are trying to crank it. So it just recorded the lowest voltage there, and I'll go try and start it again. And of course I'm going to watch the test light. That's how long the computer keeps it on. Door kind of needs some lube on it. So I'm going to push the min-max button. That shows us our highest voltage of 0.28, and our lowest voltage was 0.004. Actually, that shows a negative 0.004. Let me go back here. So our highest was 0.28. Okay, some very important notes here. Voltage drop test must be done in a dynamic or a working circuit. Current must be flowing to do voltage drop tests. Okay, if you hook the meter the exact way I said, and you don't try and do the test as you're starting the vehicle, it's worthless. Okay, you can't check voltage drop unless current is actually flowing. So the lowest voltage we had on the positive side was 11.4. And the highest voltage we had on the ground was 0.28. If we subtract that, that gives us over 11 volts to start this vehicle. This vehicle is perfectly capable of starting at 11 volts. Maybe I should charge, but I do want to show you what I'm hearing down here. There is the starter, has been replaced. Go ahead and turn it to the start position. You can hear it click pretty good. And then unclick. Do it one more time. And that is the Bendix jumping out to engage the teeth of the starter. One thing you have to be concerned with is whether or not the engine is seized up and your starter's working fine, just the engine won't turn over. We will turn this engine over by using a ratchet at the harmonic balancer pulley and make sure it's not seized up. Okay, I got a ratchet on the front pulley here, and the engine turns over just fine. Okay, we got the starter out. I got the boost box hooked to it with a good ground and 12 volts on the post, and I'm going to jump voltage to the starter terminal. And if you'll watch this gear right here, how's the lighting?
It's alright. I can see the gear though.
Obviously you can see it's jumping out of there, but it is not spinning. Quality starter. Let's spray some grease on those hinges. That thing sounds terrible. All faith and confidence is going to start. There we go. Okay, starter diagnosis is not hard, but this video is about the process of conclusively diagnosing it and knowing what the problem is. And the process on a starter has to be, you have to see the start wire go hot. Never really had to go so far as to check for voltage drop on the start wire. I think it's a lot less critical, but you have to check power and ground on to the starter while the starter's cranking. You have to do voltage drop testing at the starter on the positive side, and I showed you how to do that with the fluke meter on min-max setting. The min-max setting makes it nice and easy because it makes it a one-man job. If you don't have a fluke meter with the min-max setting, or some type of meter that'll do the same thing, you can do the same test. You just need to watch it as your helper hits the start button. You're gonna have to be wary of an auto ranging meter. If it auto ranges during the time you're looking at the reading, then you could get a false reading there or not see the problem. So you want to, if you're using an auto ranging meter and you're looking at it physically, then you have to set it to manual range. Enough of this. If you enjoyed this video, if you learned anything from it, I'm going to be doing some more diagnostic process videos. As I'm trying to demonstrate my diagnostic process in these videos, I'm learning what a diagnostic process is and how better to convey it. So if you learned anything from this video, give me a like and subscribe and visit my website. And if you want to financially contribute to the continued production of these videos, find the donate icon on my website at www.kansascitytdi.com.